I'd like to speak for a minute about the software itself and its future. Basically, the network community is a small community. I estimate there's probably 300 to maybe 500 active practitioners. So this isn't a large base to sell an application. I realized from the outset that if this application would become viable as a business or something sustainable, it would really require adoption by a good number of practitioners. Certainly not all, certainly not even 50%, but a good percentage would be needed to keep the application at a cost which is reasonable to everybody, and secondly, at a cost that provides the income to continue building the application. And there's some very exciting features that we have on the backlog to add in the future, but that all depends on the adoption of the application and whether it's actually used. I've developed this software as a side project, hence the time it's taken to develop it, but also the fact that it took me, I actually programmed a much larger practice management system, and then I got to a point I realized that the quality that I was looking at on this system was not good enough, and that I wanted to scale back the features to a very minimal set of features that would be viable to a practitioner and would allow me to release the software with a good level of quality, get feedback, see who's interested in it, and then go from there. The fact is that when I started programming this, I got in touch with a number of practitioners, and I also placed some posts on the network community and wherever else I could, asking for practitioners who were interested in collaborating with me in creating the features, in terms of giving me feedback, reviewing what I was doing, telling me when I was going the wrong direction, et cetera, et cetera. And I thought I would have a few takers. However, what it's come down to is there's been one practitioner who's actually taken the time to work with me throughout the last couple of years in developing this. And also, that was one of the reasons I scaled back the application, because I started wondering whether this application really would be adopted by practitioners. It's one thing to say you want something, it's another thing to do it. So right now, the exciting thing, and the thing that's on your plate, is whether this application will be adopted. I don't pretend that it's perfect right now. I certainly don't pretend that it has all the features that you want or need. But I do think it has a start of being in itself right now an ability to electronically track your visits and practice member travel card information. From there, there's all kinds of directions we can go. There's online scheduling, there's a calendar, there's accounting, and there's also other features that I'm really excited about is, for example, being able to create a email feature that after a practice member comes in and has an entrainment or an SRI session, there's actually a database of information that we can send out to them reinforcing their session. So for example, we can give them more information on the phase they were in, or on the SRI stage that was worked, or on their houses, or any other aspect of the work. And this all can be programmed. So at this point, and the reason for making this long speech is to lay out what I see the future path. First, I'm at this point releasing the software to be used publicly for free. Any practitioner that would like can sign up, have an account, and start using it free of charge. I'm going to be offering this for free for an undisclosed period. It'll probably be a few months to a year, although don't quote me on that. Obviously, I'm video here saying that. But in that time, I'm going to judge and see how many people actually sign up, how many actually use it, what kind of feedback I get. And from there, I'll have an idea of what, if we were going to continue building features, what it would cost me to do that, based on the number of users or number of practices. And as well, I'll probably keep in mind another cost that would allow me to keep the system at a status quo, but to continue maintaining it and making minor improvements on the existing functionality. So what I encourage you to do is invite as many practitioners as you can to try this. Another thing I'll mention is that when you refer somebody through the system, on the home page there's the email box where you can put the email address of another practitioner, and the system will send them an invitation to the system. When they respond using the link that the invitation provided, it will be logged in the system that you invited that practitioner. And what will happen is when the system becomes a paid system, every practice that's invited another practitioner will receive a certain percentage discount on their monthly rate. So potentially, someone that's invited a number of practitioners could have the system for free. The system will be billed on a monthly basis, I can tell you that, but I can't tell you what it will cost. I would like to make every effort to keep it affordable to the smallest to the largest practices. And if there is a decent adoption of the system, that would really be within the realm of what's possible. I'd also like everyone to consider the opportunity that they have as practitioners or as a practitioner community right now. To create a software project, it's not just about hiring an engineer and telling them what you want. You first need to find that engineer. You do have to hire them and tell them what you want, but then you have to manage the project. And if you've ever looked or read anything about software development, the statistics are that 50% or more, I would say it's probably more like 80% of projects that are actually started to fail. And the reason is that, well, for a number of reasons. There's management, there's quality, and the third is that there's scope creep, meaning that the person that's driving the project doesn't understand what it actually takes to create something, and thus keeps adding features and eventually dilutes the quality of this project until it's not usable. I've seen it, I've been there, I've done it. Don't want to do it and won't do it again. Your opportunity right now is you have me. I've spent time on the system. I'm also an avid advocate of network care. And I would love to continue creating new features for you, creating features which not only make your business easier to manage, which is the first step, but also making it something that draws more people to network and reinforces your work with people. It makes your practice members more accountable and more enlightened in the work and more effective between visits. And I believe all this, it's one of the exciting things about software is that as a group of practitioners paying a small amount per month can actually fund something that's really significant that will be used long-term in the community. I also intend that the features that we add to the system will be driven by the community. So feature requests will be prioritized by you all. Doesn't mean that every feature that's requested is going to be created. Some are not possible, some are overly complex and would end up diluting the system and making it less usable. So that's all on the table, but bottom line is that what you're asking for is going to become the first priority to be looked at. So all in all, I can go on and on forever, but basically, I thank you for taking the time to listen to this. I've been running on for quite a while, but I felt it's important to state where I am and where everything falls on the table so that you can decide and hopefully encourage others to get involved with this project. Even if it's not perfect, when you log in, you try it, there's things you're going to like or things you won't like, definitely let me know through the feedback and support dialogue in the system. And we'll go from there. So I look forward to your comments. I look forward to seeing a lot of usage of the system. I look forward to hearing the bugs and to fixing them. And I look forward to making this grow into something that is used by a great majority of the practitioners in this community.